Year 6, as I step out of the time portal, the air burns my throat. This is not the tension you felt in Year 5. This is something else. This is the smell of collapse. The ground feels heavier, the air is dry and sharp. And people look different. You know that moment in 2026 when a system overloads. First it slows down, then freezes, and finally, a message appears. Fatal error. That's exactly where we are. Years of pressure, silent problems, delayed consequences. Everything is surfacing at once, from Rome to China, from the Balkans to Judea. The world is no longer stable. It's cracking. You enter Rome. At first glance, nothing seems wrong. The columns still stand. The temples still shine. But look closer, the illusion breaks. You move toward the banks of the Tiber River. Thousands of people are waiting. Not shouting, not rioting, just waiting. Their eyes fixed on the horizon, they are waiting for grain ships from Africa. But the horizon is empty. No sails. No movement, nothing. Rome is starving. Not just the poor, everyone. For the first time, you feel it clearly. This city cannot survive on its own. The heart of an empire dependent on supply lines. And those lines are failing. You slip into the palace, Augustus once untouchable. Now, tired, older than ever, and for the first time, uncertain. He doesn't sleep because this isn't just a food crisis. This is a control crisis. He spends his own wealth to calm the people. But money doesn't create stability. Fear spreads faster than bread. And a population driven by fear is unpredictable. To prevent chaos, Augustus makes a drastic decision. Gladiators, slaves, removed from the city, a system purge. In modern terms, reduce server load, remove unnecessary processes. But everyone knows this is temporary. The real problem lies elsewhere, the army. The legions are exhausted, years of war, endless campaigns. And now they ask, what do we get? They want land. They want payment. They want a future, but the treasury is empty. So Augustus does something dangerous. He creates a military fund, Aeraria Militaire. But funding it means one thing: taxing the untouchables. The elite, the Senate. He looks at them and says, 5% of your inheritance, 1% of your transactions, and in that moment, you see the real Rome. Men who faced death without fear. Now frozen by taxes because this changes everything. This means power is shifting. And for the first time, the elite feel vulnerable. Now the threat is not outside, it's inside. At night, fires break out across the city, neighborhoods burn, and Augustus is forced to create something new, the Vigils. A permanent firefighting force. Think about that. Rome now needs an organized system just to stop itself from burning. This is no longer stability. This is survival. You leave Rome, cross the Mediterranean. Arrive in Judea, the air here is different. Dry, heavy, unstable. This land was always tense, but now it's ready to explode. Archelaus is gone, removed by Rome itself. Now Judea is directly controlled. That alone is enough to shift everything, but the real spark is coming. A new governor arrives, Quirinius, and he brings something simple. A census. Today, it sounds harmless. Back then, it meant control, ownership. Rome is saying, I count you. Therefore, I own you. You walk through the streets. You feel it. People are not afraid. They are angry. Because this is not just about taxes. This is identity, faith, belonging, and then a voice rises, Judas of Galilee. This is slavery. The words spread instantly, and just like that, a spark ignites, small but powerful. Because this is not just rebellion, this is ideology. Rome thinks it's collecting data, but in reality, it just introduced a virus into the system. And that virus will grow. You move east, China, at first. Everything feels calm, too calm. This is not peace. This is controlled silence. Emperor Ping is dead. Official cause, illness. But as you move through the palace shadows, you feel the truth. This was not natural. This was planned. Now, on the throne, a child, Ru Ziying, too young to speak. Too young to rule, but that doesn't matter. Because the real ruler is Wang Mang. In year 6, he declares himself acting emperor. Not with force, not with war, but with strategy. He didn't break the system. He rewrote it. He used philosophy, tradition, perception. He convinced people that this was order, that this was necessary. And that's why no one resists, because they believe him. This is power in its most dangerous form. Invisible power. Rome controls through force. Wang Mang controls through belief, and belief is stronger now. Everything breaks. The Balkans, Illyria. Last year, Tiberius was preparing to destroy the Germanic tribes. Everything was ready. Victory was certain, but history doesn't follow plans. The Illyrians were gathering, supposed to fight for Rome, armed, trained, organized, and then a realization. They have everything they need: weapons, numbers, discipline, and their leader. Bato asks a simple question: why are we fighting for Rome? Silence, then decision, rebellion, over 100,000 fighters. Using Roman tactics, Roman weapons against Rome, the Balkans erupt. Cities fall. Roman officials are killed. Trade collapses, and when the news reaches Rome, everything changes. Augustus, for the first time, is afraid. If we don't act now, Rome could fall in 10 days. Tiberius abandons everything. The German campaign cancelled. He turns back. Fast, desperate, and in the distance, in the forests, Arminius is watching, learning, waiting. You stand on a hill. Below, fire, smoke, chaos. You record year 6, and you understand something clearly. This is not just a crisis. This is a turning point. Rome is weakening. Judea is radicalizing. China is transforming. The Balkans are exploding. History builds pressure. And then erupts. Year 6 is that eruption. But this is only the beginning. Your portal starts warning you. Time to leave, because year 7 will be even worse. Recording ends. The journey continues.